Hey guys, Adrian here. Welcome to the vlog. This is vlog number 26. This is a bit of a different spin to the vlog. This is a topical vlog. Today I want to talk about my top 10 reasons or my top 10 issues with my personal generation. So first off, disclaimer, take no offense with this. This is my own personal opinion. This is my own personal viewpoint about the people I grew up around, the kids I grew up around and all of that. So it is a little bit skewed with that of my own personal opinion, and that's why it's my own obviously personal opinion. And to the fact, take it with a grain of salt. If this fits you, because a lot of these things are things that I thought about myself growing up. I reflected upon how I was growing up. And again, I'm a part of the same generation I'm talking about. So yeah, we are Gen Y, the millennial generation, also called the Peter Pan generation. It's roughly about 1980s to 2000 born babies. And there's a lot of controversy over this and all that. And not getting into the specifics, but I just want to talk about, again, my top 10 reasons I think what are wrong with the generation today, of my generation. So with that, I know nothing. I don't have life figured out. This is just my own personal opinions of what I've learned so far. Let's jump right into it. Number one, lazy. We are lazy as a generation. There's so many people I know who complain about things, and we complain and complain, and we're lazy to do things about the things we complain about. We want money, yet we don't want to work for it. We have jobs, and yet we complain about our jobs when we want money. There's all these things. We're so lazy as a whole as a generation. And that ties into number two. We have everything handed to us, and that's, I think, a part of the reason why we're so lazy and why we think that that we are entitled to something in the world for some reason. We think that we are destined for more when we haven't even worked for it. We grew up in an internet generation, a technology generation at that, where we have information at our fingertips, and we take that for granted. Number three, we complain, but we don't fix. Now, this is more likely now with the advent of social media. We grew up in that social media age, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, Tumblr, all these things where we can use as outlets to complain, and trust me, our generation does a really hell of a good job doing that. But the thing is, it's not so much complaining. Everybody needs to vent, but we complain and we complain and complain about these minuscule things, but we don't even aim to fix them. I think of things like, in my opinion, if you have issues with your body type, or whether you're too big, too small, whatever, complaining isn't going to get you complaining isn't going to get you anywhere with that. You can keep on posting pictures about how you hate this and hate that, but again, at the end of the day, that's going to do nothing for you. Complaining, but no solution, in my opinion. Number four, we grew up with a fixed mindset in life. We have these ideals that are so fixed. I knew a lot of kids growing up, if you're not going to college, that you're not going to be successful. If you deviate from that set path, you're not going to be successful. We're afraid to think outside the box. I know a lot of people here who talk about they can't get a job. And we live overseas in an awesome community, and in terms of we have everything literally handed to us. And if you're too lazy to get a job here, too lazy to go find a job here, I can't even imagine when you go stateside. And yeah, they have a lot of jobs there, but employment rate, all of that, it's beyond me. We have this closed, narrow-minded mindset of things. Number five, this is a big one. We're afraid to grow up. That's why they call us the Peter Pan generation. And I think the thing about growing up isn't all that bad. Now, I'm 18. I'm not fully grown up. I'm not even nowhere close. I'm still young. Yeah, I guess I'm at the age where they consider that being an adult. But the thing about growing up is that youth exists, I believe, in that even of the eldest of people. Youth is a mindset. Just because you're growing up, it doesn't mean you need to leave these things behind. Growing up is assuming responsibility for the things that you need to do in life, and it's a part of life. You're going to have to pay bills. You're going to have to pay for a house, maybe pay for a car, take care of these things. Probably, eventually, if it's in your plans, take care of a family, a wife, a husband, kids, whatever it may be. It's a part of growing up. Number six, we're a generation of know-it-alls. I grew up with a lot of people who think they had life figured out, and as our teenage years that we were invincible and we knew everything, and that maturity is something that comes with age. But in reality, maturity is something that doesn't come with age. Maturity is something that comes with attitude and experience. We praise ignorance rather than that of free thinking. It's really crazy. Anyways, number seven, we think that time is on our side. We think we have all this time, and yes, we're young and we have a lot to look forward to and all that, but time is on nobody's side. Hate to burst your bubble. If you have a bad day, a shitty day, whatever, if something really crappy happens to you, as it will eventually in life, things are just going to happen, and sometimes they're really just going to suck, and you got to get through it. Time is on nobody's side. If you have a bad day, the universe continues to spin. It doesn't care about what happened to you. Essentially, I don't mean to be so morbid, but the fact that, time is going to wait for nobody. So get moving and make use of what you have while you can. Number 8, we're a generation that expects constant feedback. Now, this shows in work statistics of people who are Gen Y workers. We need these constant feedback, these achievements, these rewards, these recognition for things we do. And if you think that even dates back to school, I know a lot of people needed these rewards, these award ceremonies and stuff like that. And that's nice, I guess, when you're growing up as a kid to be recognized and stuff like that. And it is always nice to be recognized every now and then. But when you get into the work environment and stuff like that, sometimes you're going to work really hard on something and somebody else is going to get complete credit for it because they're your supervisor, they're your admin, they're your boss, they're your senior, whatever. That's how life is, and you need to get used to that at times. Number 9, we're scared as a whole as a generation. If I think of it really, we're still scared to question. We're still scared to think for ourselves and think outside the box. And most importantly, as a generation, we're still scared of things that are unknown to us. It's ridiculous to me at this age that we're still scared of things like people have issues with things like homophobia and other things like that. And people have issues with those who are non-religious, atheists, or whatever it may be. These issues in life that you would think would be mature enough to handle now, we still don't. Number 10. We are a consumed and consumption generation of media. And what I mean by that is we consume the most media as a generation. We consume so much content, it's ridiculous nowadays. If you just think about the vast amounts of information, whether it's news, headlines, celebrity news, whatever, things that fly at us in a day from our phones, from our TVs, from our computers, whatever, from our friends, we consume a ton of media. And it's just tons and tons of consumption of media, but at the same time we are also consumed by it. By what I mean by that is that we are lost in our media at times, and that's coming from somebody who works in technology. It's ridiculous to see the amount of people on our phones and how tied we are to our phones and these social networks. And it's I'm afraid that a lot of us have lost that ability to live in the moment, not bask. Just bask in the essence of what's happening rather than taking a picture and sharing it or doing all these things while we're on our phone. I was guilty of that, and I'm getting better at that because I'm trying to learn to live in the moment. And again, as a consumption of media, we complain all over these social networks. And the thing that I've never understood as a generation, we talk about all these things and we share it to the internet, and then there's people who are like, I don't care what people say, I don't care about people's opinions, or like, I never wanted somebody to read that, how to get out there. As a generation, that's a really stupid thing I think that a lot of kids do. If you're sharing it on the internet, one, realize that the internet is written in pen. It's never temporary, even if you think it is. If you think that you can delete it just like that and it'll be gone, you have another thing coming. And number 2, if you're sharing it to the internet, if you're uploading it to the internet in any capacity, you are asking to be judged. You are asking for it to be seen. So don't pull the whole, this is a private whatever. That's what diaries are for. I don't care if you write it in a Word document or a text notepad, whatever it may be. If you're sharing it to the internet, you're asking to be judged. It's simple as that. So, in the end, there is a silver lining to this. While we are a generation that has all these issues, I think personally, we have the best technology available. We carry powers in our pockets that are ridiculous amount. The iPhones and the Android phones, these smartphones have ridiculous amounts of power and access to various amounts of information that previous generations had to spend, nights and months and years just to get these bits of information that we can get like that. And we take that for granted. We need to learn that as important as it is to share on these social media, it's also important to create content. As well as as important as it is to consume content, it's important to create content and share it out there. We need to learn that we are engulfed in the media of technology. That's the generation we're born in. But there's good to be done with the resources we have as well. Question things around you. Nothing in life is handed to you. You're going to fail along the way. And yeah, we are in a tough situation as in every generation is, with the economy, etc., etc. But our possibilities, again, are endless with the resources that we have. We know nothing. You need to realize that you know nothing as an individual. There's so much to learn. There's so much more to consume. Education doesn't stop because you're out of school. And that growing up is a big part of life, whether you want to or not. Assume responsibilities for what you do. Life is short. Make use of your time. That's the silver lining to all of this. Anyways, guys, those are my top 10 issues I think are wrong with our generation, my personal generation, from a personal standpoint. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I will catch you all tomorrow.